Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. It's Leslie here, still in Sighthill, and I am here at this huge historical monument that is here. So this here was erected for the memory of John Baird, who was 32, and Andrew Hardy, who was 28, who for the cause of freedom suffered death at Stirling, September 1820. So in 1820 in Scotland there was something called the Radical War, and as far as I say, I'm not good with history, but I think it was a week of unrest. It was basically workers fighting for their rights, going on strike, saying we're not getting enough pay. It was basically like industrial action, I suppose, that we happens nowadays. But back then, that wasn't taken very lightly, and these people were executed for basically standing up and wanting, a better way of life. So that's very there's a lot of information on this, guys, a lot of information on this actual monument. This bit here seems very, very illegible. Someone's even put flowers down. So if we walk around to the other side, here lie the slain and mutilated forms of those who fell like martyrs true, faithful to freedom through a time of storms. They met their fate as patrons always do, despising death which ne'er can noble souls subdue. Calmly they viewed their death's dread and dank array, then heaven directed turned their prayerful eyes, serene in hope they triumphed. I think that is. Their country's wrong alone drew forth their signs, and those to them endeared by nature's holiest ties. But truth and might have better times brought round, now know. Can't see that. By passing breath for whooping, Scotland hails this spot of ground and shrines with all who fell for freedom's faith. Those sons of hers now. Struggling with that bit there again, guys. But I'll put a link into the description box, and it tells you the whole inscription. So James Wilson was executed in Glasgow on the 30th of August 1820, and he's buried in Straven. I've already been to Straven. And round here, another interesting bit, as I say, the link that I'll put in the description box will have all this on it, instead of you having to me reading it all out. Basically it says, during the erection of the monument, the committee applied to Her Majesty's government for permission to remove the mortal remains of the two martyrs from Stirling to this spot, and after a lengthened correspondence the following letter was received from the Lord Advocate. And this was London, so this is basically a transcript from the letter. And basically they wanted the bodies moved and for them to be reinterred here. And this was London, May 5th, 1847. And this is an actual, it's quoted from the letter that was wrote. It says, in accordance with these instructions, the exhumation took place at an early hour on the morning of the 20th of July 1847, and the remains reinterred in front of this monument on the same day, in presence of a considerable assembly of friends. Here then they rest, and far in future years shall freedom dew this spot with memory's tears. But yeah, they were like the first that stood up for basically better pay, better living conditions, basically still kind of stuff that we do nowadays, but you just don't get executed for it. But I'll link the description so you can read more about it instead of me getting things wrong, guys. Something of their pain in the 1820 rising, the following officially sentenced to death. something to New South Wales, Australia. In 1835 were given a royal pardon, and there's all these names here. So I don't know if they're all given a royal pardon. We've got John Anderson, John Barr, William Clarkson, James Cleland, Andrew Dawson, Robert Gray. So I think they were all pardoned. There is another graveyard that I'm going to go and visit very soon as well. It's called Abercrombie Street, and that's in Glasgow, and it's not a big huge one. It's full of basically, you know, the merchants that built Glasgow, but also there is another martyr's grave. They've done it again in Calton, basically trying to stand up for better pay. They were the weavers, and they weren't getting the pay, so they stood up for what they believed in, and they got executed as well. You can't imagine that happening nowadays. This monument was repaired at considerable expense in 1865. So basically, you can kind of see it was a wee bit dodgy looking. I don't know, it's only been here for not that long, so I don't know why it ended up needing repaired. But what I've read online is, even though it's saying that they were exhumed and interred here, it says online that they most likely weren't. So I really don't know. But yeah, as I said, it's very interesting, guys. And I will let you read more. Thanks for watching.